In today's session, we will be talking about the 360 degrees feedback. Hey, Nicola.
Hi, how are you? Long time since we did one of
Yes,
these.
it certainly has been a long time.
Been busy. It's been busy.
Yes, busy is good. That's great. So let me, can you see my screen? The Academy. I'm
Yes?
starting off with the Academy this time.
Mm-hmm.
So just to viewers who are tuning in for the first time, we have a Jobs for Nationals Academy with over 200 online certified courses. And just to give you a quick preview, you can click on this button, which will take you down to the courses. And here you'll find all the e-learning programs from AI to arts and humanities to blockchain, CV writing, language courses, Google courses, and everything else that is available on the online platforms. And here on the footer, there are some shortcuts on machine learning, algorithms, Python, data science. If that's of interest, you can just click the links and it'll take you directly to that specific course. So coming back to today's discussion on 360, you will find the 360 under programs and custom programs, and right here the third one, the 360 degrees feedback. So we'll just wait for this page to open up. So Nicola, coming back to you, could you give us an overview? Firstly, what is 360?
360 is, as it says, 360 degrees, not 180, not 90, not 270. It's a 360 degree review of a person by their team, their director, their peer group, and their direct reports, and possibly stakeholders. So it's a tool that enables leaders to review and understand their preferred behaviors, how they're seen by their team and others, and how that can impact the way their team and their department function, and also their external customers as well as their internal customers. It's a way of using someone's full potential, or their, I don't want to go negative words. It's a way of looking at potential for development and growth. So you can do improvement and you can do development.
Oh, okay. So you can use this tool for both. So
Yes.
next logical question is, when should it be used then?
It's when should it be used? It should be used when probably annually, certainly annually. I wouldn't be inclined to use it biannually because I think that would be too much. But certainly if you've got a new team leader or a new CEO, or you have someone who's in a probationary period and it's linked to their performance appraisal, then you could use it at any time. It's better to be using it for growth than it is for correction.
So would it be safe to say that, whenever there's a cultural shift in the organization, it's a good practice to do something like this?
It's definitely good practice, and especially if you think about now, with people going back, having had 4 months out of the usual work environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, out of the previous work environment to working remotely, working in completely different conditions. It's going back. So if you've had bullies, then bullies are going to have to change their behavior because they can't revert to their old behavior, because the people who have been working from behind a screen, many of them have become more confident, they're less introverted, they may become a little bit more extroverted because they've got that kind of protection. So the dynamics of all teams will have changed beyond all recognition. And if we quote one of his Excellency, anybody who thinks everything is going back to normal is seriously mistaken. I haven't said that exactly right. That's the context. It's not going back to what it was. Everything has changed, and anybody who wants to stay the same is going to have difficulties going forward.
Okay, all right. So what's included in the 360? I mean, you touched base slightly on managers and reports, but if we dive down, what's included and what is the process?
The process is an inventory link, similar to Teams and similar to careers, and we haven't looked at the actual talent finder aspect of any of this yet. But basically, let's say it's us. You're the CEO, and I'm on the advisory board, and then there's all the other team, finance, support, admin, etc., right. and advisory board members. So you would be the prime person, and everybody else would do their feedback, and it's anonymous. So you get a really interesting picture of the person's perception themselves of how they're doing, and then direct reports, peer group, and as I said, you can add in stakeholders.
Okay, all right.
So that answers the question. So anybody who's familiar with your work, if we use you as the example, can be involved. And I think it's 27 or 30 feedbacks can be included in this.
Okay.
So it's very comprehensive, and you get the 8 dimensions, which makes a big difference to looking at people.
So I'm looking at the page, and it says that it can measure behavioral strengths, competencies, emotional intelligence, and personality. So certainly a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool, and extremely valuable, particularly anytime, but particularly after 4 months of challenging work environments.
Yep, absolutely. So, one of the things mentioned in what can you measure is competencies. Now, I know that a lot of the organizations have internal competencies already. So, what can the organizations do if they already have their own competencies? Can that be integrated into 360?
Yeah, it can. You can. Any organization can use their own competencies. They can be mapped to the dimensions, the 8 dimensions, or you can use the built-in competencies that are already in the Prism Brain Mapping 360 tool. Or we can design the competencies with you. So you have, again, a range, like a buffet that you can choose from.
Okay.
We did a project recently where we were looking at an internal set of competencies, and we were able to map 8 of the competencies onto 7 of the dimensions. Do you remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So
very versatile.
Absolutely. So organizations can use their own competencies, or they can use the competencies that are built into the 360.
Or they can be designed co-working.
And I suppose in terms of timeline, I suppose that depends on the complexity of the organization, whether they want to build competencies or they already have existing competencies. But on an average, in your experience, what would you say would be a safe timeline to start and end the project, say 4 to 6 weeks?
I don't think you need as long as that, as long as the preparation and planning and the communication channels internally are functioning well. Because the most important thing is that people are prepped, primed, and know what they're involved in. And then also you need to be making a decision, am I going to hold on to all this information in training and development or in performance management, or are I going to share this because it has an impact on everybody's performance? So you don't need to share 100%, but you need to share enough, because if people are engaged, they're going to be more interested, they're going to be more motivated, and they're going to see the benefits. So huge benefits and much more success. And more success means more happiness in the organization, more transparency, and especially in these times where our dynamics have changed dramatically.
Yep. And I think it'll help you form true teams, because right now people use the word teams loosely, and not a lot of people understand what a true team is, because the trust factor is usually missing in teams, and that has to be there if you want to form a true team.
Well, again, when we talked about team exploration, we talked about the differences between teams and groups, and the groups tend to be working for themselves, whereas teams tend to be working for an achievement that's going to benefit everybody. I did a survey only this morning from an airline group, not directly from the airline, but an airline related group. And one of the prime question was, what does trust mean to you with this transport and life, the environment and impact? Trust. And trust is critical, especially going back after 4 months. Yep. You've been able to work at home without doing finger biometrics for timesheets and stuff, and trusted and performing. And then are you going to expect me to go back to doing exactly that same thing, showing me that you don't trust me? Huge dynamics in the environment.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've noticed looking at the going back to the website is that Prism 360 assessment also highlights the why. I've done a few 360s in the past, and why is always missing. So that is very interesting. How does it do that?
Can you expand on that a little bit? Because to me, if you're doing a 360, you need to know why you're doing it in the first place, and that's part of briefing, prepping, and engaging your team into the process. If you don't know why you're doing it, why are you doing it?
No, I think what it says here on the website is that it also tells you why that individual is behaving in a certain way.
Right, okay, from that perspective.
From that perspective.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, because if you know what someone's preferred behaviors are, if someone is hugely innovative and they are unable to use their innovating because their job title and their job position and the way the organization operates doesn't facilitate or enable the person to use that preferred behavior. Does that make sense? So if I'm having to maximize my least preferred behavior, if me personally, in the gold dimension analysis, I have a very low attention to detail, finishing.
Right.
I can adapt my finishing up for short periods, but I cannot sustain it. It takes me outside my comfort zone.
Absolutely.
But what I do is I use my coordinating to manage my lack of finishing. So when you know what's going on with someone's preferred behaviors, their least preferred behaviors, making them do things they don't like and they're averse to is not going to increase their performance. So that is the why part.
Okay, all right. Okay, great. Nicola, thanks for a quick overview. And I just want to point out that if anybody's interested in the 360, they just need to click this button, Discover 360, and the page will take them to the Contact Us section where they can fill in their details and select the 360 feedback option right here at the bottom, and send us a quick message, and we will get back to you with all the information. And besides that, please do check out the website, the academy.jobsfornationals.com. We're also in the process of creating career paths, which you see right here. And we've got 4 career paths that are already live right now. So this is done through your feedback. So keep sending that feedback. If you're interested in a specific career path, let us know. Again, you can do it through Contact Us, or you can go through any of the career paths that are here, and right below at the bottom, let me scroll down, you will have a feedback section where you can send us your comments, your feedback, and if there's something specific you want as a new career path or a course you're looking for that is not part of the current career path, we will be happy to look that up for you and build something that is around that. The whole idea of a career path is to create a direction, an independent direction, so people become independent They don't have to depend on jobs. They look at more of the entrepreneurial route to be your own boss, basically. So
or writing your own career narrative, and again, knowing what your preferred behaviors are in order to follow your passion, rather than to do something that you're doing because you've been obliged to or
exactly
persuaded into, or doing it because of peer group. Could you just pop back to the other page where you had CYB, Prism and Mind Milk? Because I just want to point out to people that Prism brain mapping in all its shapes and forms is available in Arabic, and you don't have to just deal with me. We have a team of bilingual Prism brain mapping practitioners.
This page, you mean the home page?
Yes. If you come down from there, I think you go down a bit, and then you'll find there's a piece where we talk about underneath, meet the team.
Okay, yeah.
So it's very important to know that we have bilingual practitioners. Although everybody that's coming to Jobs for Nationals is usually looking for English speaking, English reading, English writing, and English understanding.
That's right.
Sometimes it's important to be able to check some questions back in your first language, and we have a range of people who are bilingual.
Yep. Thanks for pointing that out.
Practitioners.
That's all for now. Thank you for joining us. Nicola, thank you so much. We'll be back with another program or another certification in a week's time. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.